Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to go live on Instagram over here and get this shit popping. Do. Live details. Live. All right. Good morning. Welcome to Saturday Church, everyone. Getting back into it. If you are here, either on YouTube or on Facebook or over here on Instagram, live, because I'm going to have to. How are we going to do this? We're going to put you over here. Actually, if you're joining me over here, join us on YouTube. Link in bio. Post. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing good. Let's see if I can lower this camera to get them closer to one another. We're figuring this out as we go, you guys. Thanks for your patience. That'll do, I think. Maybe, right? That'll do. And then I'll just prop this little buddy up a little higher. See what we got. Maybe. Yeah, that'll have to do. If you are joining us on YouTube, I'm going to highly encourage you to go over, or Instagram, I'm going to highly encourage you to go over to YouTube, because that's where I can actually see some more people, some more faces, and I can actually add captions and things like that. So we'll do it both places, but seriously, YouTube is where you want to hang out with us today. So good morning. I'm glad everyone's here. Let's get a little bit of tunage started. Alexa, please play Crowded Table by the Highwomen. Let's get into it. Alexa, play Crowded Table by the Highwomen. Goodness.
Crowded Table by the Highwomen from Spotify.
Thank you. Come on in. And I'd also love, if you're joining us now, tell me where you are in the country, where you are in the world, and let's just get to know each other a little bit. So say hello. Where are you from? Good morning. Hello, Luke. Showing you the way. Morning, Sonia. If you're joining us, tell us in the comments where you are in the world, what your pronouns are. Hey, Sonia from Chesterton, Chandler in Colombia, Makeru in the UK. Good to see you. Hello, B the Kiwi in Phoenix. Come on, Locks in Virginia Beach. Currently in Jamaica. Okay, very fancy. We love. Hello. Whoa, South Africa. What's up? International. Hey, Eric P in Texas. Oklahoma. Hey, Misty. I know you, girl. And that's also what happens is you hear my voice talking to the robots, maybe your robots in your house started talking, so not bad. What's up, Rachel in Ontario? We're just using this time to get people in the room to come on in. So if you're like, what are they doing? Why are they just playing music and sitting there? It's because we're gearing up for it. And also, you can put any sort of chats over here, and maybe they'll come up over here. The door is always open. I need to add a better background. Let's see if I can fix that real quick. I bet I can. Hey, from Texas. Sophia in Illinois. We'll use this one just because it's here. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. On the world. Hey, Jameson from Calgary. So pumped to be here to be doing this with y'all. It just felt like the thing to do. Hey, hey, hey. Mm, Awesome. Super, super glad to have all of you here. I'm actually going to leave the chat up the whole time on YouTube because that way we can interact with each other and say hello, and I can know like how we're doing and how we're going. So I'm Kevin Garcia. I'm a digital pastor, and I'm trying to not look between two cameras. Is there a way to do this? I think there is. I think there's a creative solution in my midst right now. So I'm gonna go walk away and I'm gonna go get my big stand. I'll be right back. 'Cause I don't care. I don't care. Oh yeah, that's way better. You know, I could rig up this other one. Could. Probably should. But we'll get to that later. We'll fix it later. We'll fix it in post, as they say. Anyways, I'm Kevin Garcia. I'm a digital pastor. I'm queer. And I wanted to start this thing called Saturday Church. Oh, this is perfect because I can like kind of look between these two little things. It's okay. See? We're gonna work it out. Don't care. I am Kevin Garcia. I'm a digital pastor. I'm queer. I am so pleased to be creating this. So if you are live for the first time, either, oh, you know what we're about to do? Oh, I'm a genius. Oh, I'm a genius, you guys. Wait till you see this. Wait till you see this genius. Hold on. Oh yeah. This is what I just did. I put my webcam right on top of my. Oop! Don't want to. We don't want to do that. We don't want to cover it up. We want to put it on the other side of this. Come here. Put it on the other side. Oh, hot dog! You guys, she's a genius. She's loving it. Okay, so I put my Logitech camera right on top of my phone, so now I can stream in all three places. This is so good. I am gonna like make this bigger. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay, now I'm ready to go. Now I know how to do this. Okay, this is gonna be cool. We know what to do for the future. Anyways, if you are new to my page or my space, please go ahead and say hello below. I'm Kevin Garcia. I'm a digital pastor. I'm a theologian, I suppose. That is what my bio says. Um, and I'm really dedicated and interested in creating spaces for queer folks and folks who are outside of Christian traditional teachings. I'm interested in kind of expanding our canon to really see, uh, explore the question: who is God? What is God? And how can we learn how to love one another a lot better? And so I wanted to start this thing that we're calling Saturday Church. Kind of just as like a way for us to gather in some kind of alternative space, because a lot of us don't have that all the time. A lot of us lost those spaces, and like we still need a place to gather and say hello and all that good stuff. So I'm super pumped to be here. Thanks for saying hello to me in the chat. We've got like 14 folks over on YouTube, YouTube and Facebook, and then we've also got 22 folks over on Instagram. So say hello. And then other thing I want you to do is if you could take the link that you're watching this on right now. So if you're on Instagram, it's going to be down here. Send this live to somebody you think should be in here right now. If you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, take the link. You can just click share it to your Twitter, share it to your social media. Just come hang out with us. It's a good time. Actually, I'm gonna like, oh, you know what? I need to move my microphone right over here. I bet that's gonna make the sound way Has it been muted the whole time? Have y'all been muted over on YouTube? You can tell me. Because if you've been muted, I'm going to feel really, really silly. Apparently not. Okay, because I can hear it going through on the other end. All right, let's get into it. We want to start off by having a time of just kind of centering and just asking, like, what do we need right now? Yeah, and I think because this week has been such like a wild one for me personally. Um, I was thinking a lot about how can I serve my like this is what's really interesting for me. Whenever I am stuck in a big feeling, whenever I can't get through, like when I feel like I can't get through, like the answer for me has typically gone back to like how can I just serve my community just a little bit better. Don't pay attention to that mess. You don't care about it. I'm a little self-conscious. Can you tell? Because I'm doing this for the first time in a long time. I'm also there we go. Adjustments all over the place. But I wanted to bring this back because I feel like there's a lot of us out here who are craving some kind of new spiritual practice of some kind. There's a lot of us out here who are hungry and curious for like what could be outside of strict Christianity. That's what we're doing here. And so I wanted to actually start off with like something we do like within actually from a Christian tradition called Prayers of the People, starting off with centering down in what we know. And so what I'd love for you to do is if you have a prayer request, if you have somebody you want to pray for, something you need prayer for, please give it to us in the comments. Let's go into it. And if you're not comfortable with prayer, like think about it this way. We're just centering ourselves on what is within us. What is the most true thing going on within us right now? So I might say things like God. I might say things like Jesus. And I also might say, name the saints or my ancestors or my family who have passed on. I might name my trans ancestors and my queer ancestors who are part of my life and my becoming. So I want you to call love, call God, call spirit by whatever name feels best to you right now. So if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes or you can just in the chat just offer prayers up for both the community. Take a deep breath in, breath out. Holy Spirit, holy love, holy presence, I thank you for this breath, for this morning. I thank you for every person who's joining us over here on the internet, making a kind of third space. Spirit, I just lift up what's on my heart. We lift up the people of Afghanistan and the wild, wild things that are happening in the wake of the American government once again abandoning people and countries that they destabilized. God, have mercy on those who are guilty. And also have mercy on us who still participate in these systems unwittingly much of the time and still feel helpless to divest from them. May we have mercy for ourselves and for others. We lift up Sonia's friend Amy and their baby who's diagnosed with polymicrogyria. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. We pray for our friend Rachel, who's recording her first album this week. And we ask that all love, peace, and power be with you. I pray for all of our friends and family who are in COVID times, who are stuck in the hospital for whatever reason. Our friend on Instagram by the name Anchored to Love says we are praying for their process as we begin the ordination process. Congratulations, that's amazing. Hmm. So something I do as part of this is like, not only do I think that we can offer up prayer to spirit, to love, to whoever, I also believe that we can get words back from God. I believe that when we sit and we listen, there is an opportunity for us to open up ourselves to more. We lift up for, it says, Marigold says, prayer for my friend Gabby, who's a nurse in ICU, exhausted and overworked. Yes, we lift up all of our friends who are working in the medical field, who are working to save lives. I actually pray for all the people who are very vehemently anti-vax and who are afraid. I pray that spirit, that you would open up their eyes to see that this is a life-saving miracle and that more lives would be saved. Mm. Mm. If you, again, as we're going through this, if you've got any prayers or anything, if any comments you want to make as we're going along, please put them in the comments, because again, right now this is one-sided, because we don't have like the vocal interaction. So the text is all I see. So please tell me how we're doing out here, okay? Anyways, as I was saying before, I think that we have the ability to hear from God, to hear from spirit. And I think that one way to do that is through this amazing tool called tarot. It's ancient. It goes way, way, way back. All the way probably to, some people even say, to like ancient Egypt and even before. That's where it has its roots, but it's been in a bunch of magical and spiritual systems the world over. But it's simply a way for us to listen for spirit and use these tools as kind of like guideposts to getting to what she might be saying to us. So spirit, we welcome a word from you now. We thank you and all of the amazing humans who are joining us. May this word be uplifting and liberating. All right. I'm using the Fifth Spirit Tarot. You can get this at fifthspirittarot.com. It's queer. It's indie. It's great. Come through. Justice. And you know what? As soon as I saw this card, you know what this was making me think of? This is making me think of all the water protectors out there who are fighting against Line 3. If you don't know what's going on right now, there is a Canadian oil company who is currently trying to push through what they're calling Line 3, the Great Black Snake, that is trying to go through sovereign territory. And right now, there are water protectors on the ground that are being forced into incredibly dangerous situations out there. So if you are looking to get involved in some way and educate yourself, look up Line 3 or Stop Line 3 on Google, okay? The Justice card out here is featuring this incredible, beautiful black woman, black femme, carrying the imbalanced scales of justice, a sword, and just walking from the throne, not sitting in one place at all. It's on the scales. You can see that the heart is heavier than the feather. So it's just like, what in my, in ancient, actually talking about ancient Egypt, it said that Anubis would weigh the heart against the feather of truth, the feather of righteousness. And if your heart was heavy with sin, it would be heavier than that feather. And so it's just like, all right, so what in our lives is heavier than the feather of truth right now? What in our hearts is heavier than righteousness? You know what I'm saying? And how can we, along with justice, step off of our thrones or step back from it and start walking forward to say, do you see what's going on here? Do you see the ways in which the system is breaking us? And notice how these two things are drawn. They're not physical whole objects, which I think is like really an incredible thing to see. Like, these things are like, which is really interesting. We're talking about the armor of God in our text today. But it's just like how we've seen it before is this weapon to be used against somebody else, when really, like, these are tools of our imagination which cut through the illusion. Can I get an amen? Somebody. Right behind that, Seven of Wands. Even though the world is burning around us, you have permission to blossom. You have permission to lean into your beauty and to your work, even when people are coming against you. You know what I'm saying? Let's pull one more. Ace of Pentacles. The seed. The seed, my friends. We're coming up on a full moon this Sunday. And oftentimes I'm asking around that time, like, what were the seeds that you planted back during the beginning, the new moon? And have you seen them come like it? And I often see aces as this feeling of spirit is handing us something new. Spirit is handing us a new way of doing it. And so with pentacles or seeds, even, it's just like there's something new that is ready to take root, that is ready to start blossoming. Are you willing to take the thing that's right in front of you and plant it so that you can blossom? Are you willing to get off of your ass a little bit to do it? You know what I'm saying? And so with all of that, this is not a condemnation. This is an invitation. You know, this is not a place where we're trying to like degrade you or bring you down in any stretch of the imagination. This is just saying, like, do you notice? And that's what I think tarot does a really good job of. Is noticing what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Cool. So that's my little tarot thing. In the future, I guess, like, while we're talking a little bit, I want to pause and say that I need to give thanks, shouts, props, praise to the pastor Lavon Proverbs Briggs, aka Pastor Bay. You can find her at Lavon Briggs, and also find her spiritual community, The Proverbial Experience, because she inspired this. I saw that she was creating a spiritual community for her people, and it just was so beautiful to see, like, how she was interacting with people. I said, I want to do that. I want to do that for my people. And so at first we borrowed heavily from her format and stepped back because it wasn't quite there. I think I jumped the gun. And I said, okay, so what do my people need? What are we going to do? What's different? What do I want to do? And so Lavon Briggs, I love you. Thank you for your inspiration and for helping birth new spiritual spaces. Plan on bringing that up every time, because she literally is everything, and I want to be her when I grow up. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so that is that about that. I guess, like, before we get into other things, I want to say, like, this is like the first of many Saturday church gatherings I want to have here on the gram, and also on the YouTube, on just like this digital space. What I would love to do is to use this as an opportunity to just invite more people into our community. I run this thing on Patreon called the Spiritual Reformation Community. And in there, it's people of all stripes and spiritual beliefs. A lot of us are former or post or some version of Christian. And a lot of us aren't, like me. Like, I'm not a Christian. I love Jesus. I read from the Bible, but I am not a Christian. You know why I'm not a Christian? Because people tell me I'm not a Christian. I'm like, okay, fine. If you don't want me to be a Christian, then I won't be a Christian. But I will keep preaching. I will keep doing my work, because it really doesn't matter to me what you call me. You know, I want you to look at my life and say, like, what does this say about me? That's what Jesus even asked. It's like, who do you say that I am? You know? So, like, if you look at me and you say not a Christian, actually good. A lot of Christians also. Hi, Vicky Beeching. I love you. If y'all don't know Vicky, you need to go follow her. She's my girl. But I would love for you to become a part of this. If you want to support this work, if you want to become a part of the community, you can go to patreon.com/TheKevinGarcia and join us there. We're going to go ahead and get into it. But in the future, this is what I want to do. I want to involve everyone. I want to involve people doing musical selections, reading poetry, reading prayers that we've written together. Megan over on YouTube just said the Patreon is so worthwhile. And thanks. That's a solid thing. That it helps invest here in helping create this space. It helps pay the bills. And I want to continue to do this. So go to patreon.com/thekevingarcia if you're interested in doing that and become a part of the community. We also have a couple more things while I have your attention. This is the church announcements part, everyone. Sorry. Next Friday, the 27th of August, we have Jamie Lee Finch, Andre Henry, Keith Manhinnick, and myself doing a live show here in Atlanta called Wonder Fully Made. There's a comma in there. Which I think I actually have a little image I can share with you. Yeah, here it is. Boom. Here it is. All of us out here in these streets. You want to be here. You want to be here. Trust and believe. All the tickets are at thekevingarcia.com/tour, but it's going to be a night discussing the question, what does it mean to be in wonder? You can also join us online at patreon.com/thekevingarcia for the live stream if you can't make it in person or if you don't feel comfortable being in person right now. Cool. Tight. Yeah. All right. Spirit, may all the things I'm about to say be good, helpful, and pleasing to you. Amen. Okay. So I'm a preacher. That's just I just gotta say that I love preaching. I love preaching. I love teaching. And the reason I love doing it is because it's inspiring. I love hearing good preaching because at the end of the day, when you hear somebody who's connected to love be able to talk about why they love so much, why they're in wonder, that is me through and through. I love it. And so I grew up in the Christian tradition. And so I learned how to exegete the text. And that's what I draw from. It's what I've got the most language around right now. So sometimes I'm going to read from the Bible as my text. I also might read from the Tao Te Ching, which is Lao Tzu's ancient Chinese book of wisdom. I might read from the Kitabi Akdas, which is a Baha'i holy text. I might read from Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, because that to me is a holy text too. I might read from The Spiral Dance by Starhawk, because my holy text expands beyond just a strict canon, because I believe that the holy scripture of our life is written in our everyday moments. I'm going to say that again. I believe that the holy scripture of our life is written in everyday moments, if we just have the eyes, the ears, the minds to perceive it. All right, so today I'm going to use a text from Ephesians. We're in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18. And I am reading from the New Testament by Hal Taussig. New Testament is a different translation that also adds a bunch of non-canonical early Christian text to what we could, because the New Testament, if you look at your Bible, it's thin, and the Old Testament's this big. This is the New Testament, including so many things that early Christians were using. And let me tell you what, as I explore early Christian texts and the way that they actually inform each other, it's a lot more beautiful. It makes me want to be a Christian sometimes, but only sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Cool, let's get into it. And next time I'll have this in some kind of graphic that I can put up on the screen. So thanks we're learning. It's fine. And plus next week, somebody else is probably going to be reading the scripture. So if you want to join in on that, get over to Patreon. All right. Anyways, Ephesians 6:10, New Testament translation. For the future, find strength in your union with the Lord and in the power which comes from God's might. Put on the full armor of God so that you may be able to stand your ground against the stratagems of the devil. For ours is not a struggle against enemies of flesh and blood, but against all the various powers of evil that hold sway in the darkness around us, against the spirits of wickedness on high. Therefore, take up the full armor of God, so that when the evil day comes, you may be able to withstand the attack, and having fought to the end, still to stand your ground. Stand your ground then with the truth, says, it says, so this is where the translation gets a little different. Stand your ground then with truth for your belt and with righteousness for your breastplate and with the readiness to serve the good news of peace as shoes for your feet. At every onslaught, take up faith for your shield, and with it you will be able to extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one, and receive the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the message of God, always with prayer and supplication. Pray in the Spirit at all times. Be intent on this, and unwearyingly perseverance and supplication for all God's holy people. A word of God for the people of God. Some of y'all might know that text as the text surrounding the armor of God. And originally the text, like the NIV that I grew up on said, take up the sword of righteousness, put on the breastplate of righteousness, put on the helmet of salvation, make sure your shoes are shod with the gospel of peace. How many of y'all grew up with this text? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you feel about this. We all learned something different about this. I learned how to be in the Lord's army growing up. I'm from a military family, 29 years Army. Funny story, the Reverend Jackie Lewis's brother and my father were in the same unit. So small effing world. But we learned very, very early on how to be in the Lord's army. There was also that song. It was like, I would never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. Anyone else? No, just me. Oh, creepsy. And also, what's interesting too is that we were taught about the armor of God in an era which we do not use armor like that, so it doesn't exactly make sense to a child. Yeah, someone in the comments on YouTube, Rachel just said, I love how this translation is more about recognizing what is already with you. You are in the relationship with divine and can be awareness of righteousness that can cover you. That's it. I'm going to just put that on the screen right there. Oh, that is a delicious observation. And that's exactly where we're going with it too. So what I learned growing up about being in an army, being willing to fight for God, it's really interesting because Jesus never asked us to fight for anything. Think about it. Go back in the Gospels, and Jesus said, he's like, you gotta be. He didn't say be willing to fight. He said be willing to take up your cross. That's different. And so, what is it? So, a couple of different things that I like about this text is the letter to the Ephesians is actually a debated text. We actually don't know if Paul, who had the supernatural experience on the road to Emmaus, we don't think that he actually wrote this script. We don't think that he actually wrote this thing, because in a couple places right before this, it actually says, slaves, obey your masters. That's a problem for me, at least. And so it's one of those things where with ancient text, much like other people, it's eat what they say, eat the meat, spit out the bones. And if you are a vegan, eat whatever is edible and then don't spit out the rest. Lavon Briggs is here. I love you, girl. Everyone, this is who I was talking about earlier. She is the inspiration for this space, so I hope that you follow her. Okay. But when we're looking at this armor, when we're looking at taking up a breastplate of righteousness, a helmet of salvation, we thought it was all about fighting. And I am here to switch it up a little bit. I want to kind of, some people call it preaching against the text, but I don't think I'm preaching against the text as much as I want to go deeper into it, because there's so much more here when we think about it. When I started moving away from evangelicalism, I had to learn to lay down my weapons. I had to learn to stop fighting. It's very interesting. It's this thing of just resist. We're in a season, a time where people are just resist. And I'm like, yes, but like resistant, like I don't want to say resist in a different way, but like there's a way of resistance that is not detrimental to our expansion. Think about it this way. When you are resisting something, what are you doing? You're focusing your attention on the thing that you don't want. You're focusing your attention on the thing that's hurting you all the time, which is totally normal, right? It's the thing that's right in front of us. It's the thing happening to our bodies. And so that is the way that we react. And so when this text is talking about the body, putting on the helmet, putting on the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, it's talking about fortifying this body against all the things that are coming against us. But I think what we mistake though is like I think he's trying to make a really really huge illusion. I think because like we grew up in a violent world, because America is such a violent place, because the empire has taught us that it's always about taking, fighting, keeping your land open, or fighting for your land, your things, instead of our place. Instead of recognizing that, oh, maybe people already lived here. It was all about taking. And so, like, for me, it was like, take all these things and be ready to go into battle, because it's a battle. We have to fight to expand this kingdom. That's not it. It's not it. That's not what Jesus said. And I, for one, am a big fan of Jesus. I got a whole degree in things that he probably said, maybe, hopefully. But it's Jesus. What did he say? He's just like, girl, your faith has got to be like a mustard seed. You got to put it in the earth. Which I think is very, very funny, because that's also the card we had earlier. If you just have this little bit of faith, what could happen? It's about growing. So when I think about staying strong, like it actually says, like in the actual, like I think the NIV, it says, stay strong in the Lord. It just gives a commandment, be strong. What does that mean? What does it mean strong? What does it mean to be strong? And so this is why I like this translation, because it reads, this is 6 verse 10, New Testament. For the future, find strength in your union with the Lord and in the power which comes from God's might. That right there is a totally different way of looking at it. Not fighting, not resisting, but finding my strength in my union with the Lord. How do I find union with God? That's the question. That's the question. How do I find union with God? Because let me tell you what, if I'm out here with my dukes up, ready to fight the entire world, ready to fight my oppressor all the time, ready to fight the person on the internet who's giving me bullshit and all my friends bullshit, if I'm out here just fighting all the time, you know what I'm doing? I'm stressing myself out. I am not resting. I'm not finding union. Because last time I checked, I follow someone who has the prescription of the Prince of Peace. And so when I think about this, let's flip it on this head. Like, what is it to put on the breastplate of righteousness? Where does it say? Stand your ground then with the truth for your belt and with righteousness for your breastplate. My mama's got this really, really amazing statement she used to say to me when people were like being assholes to me at school and I would get made fun of. If you got made fun of, hey, we're out here. And also look at us now. The people who got made fun of, we are really out here doing our best life. I mean, like, I'm digging the haircut right now, personally. I'm digging the colors. But my mama used to ask me, like, she said, well, what did they say? I was like, well, Mom, they said they said I was gay. And when I was younger, it was pre-sexual times. My mama would say, Kevin, is that true? Are you dumb? Are you an idiot? All those things. And I'd be like, no. And she's like, well, why are you worried about it? And so, friends, like, if you worried around, like, you worried around about what people asking or if people saying about you, like, there's so, like, for those of us who are in the deconstruction land or deconstructing our faith, or who have had an evolution of faith, there are so many people around us who, like, we think they're trying to embarrass us or trying to pull us off of our path or trying to distract us. They're saying things that are not true. And I'm going to ask, like, are you a backslider? Are you just doing this because you want a justification for your sin? Are you, uh, you know, just, weak in your faith and that is why you walked away from the church? No? Then put on, take truth as your belt. The truth is that you are so loved, that you are actually following God, that you're actually following Christ out of the places of oppression. You know, the truth actually doesn't need any defense. It's like people say this, this, and this, and you say, is it true? No, done. Why am I even going to entertain that thought anymore? And when I entertain that thought, what I'm doing is I'm giving it a little more power. I'm giving a little bit more validity to a conversation that I don't even want to have. If you know the truth, why are you worried about what anybody else has to say about you? Put it on. No one can pants you and embarrass you right now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can embarrass you right now. So it's like, I'm like, at least for me, like I'm somebody who sometimes if you forget a belt and your pants is falling off your butt because like everything got a little bit more elastic in it these days, thank God. But no, like no one can embarrass you. You've got take truth as your belt. Take righteousness for your breastplate. A breastplate is the thing that goes over the front of you that protects your chest from arrows that are coming in or shot, or like when people try to like hit you with like a sword or something like that. When people try to punch you in the gut, take righteousness as your breastplate. What is righteousness? Especially in this thing, I think about righteousness as right-mindedness. That's really what I think about righteousness. It's not anything about doing anything. It's about understanding your state of being. It says in A Course in Miracles, love created me like itself. That I am actually in and of myself perfectly, completely holy, completely righteous just by mere virtue of the fact that God created me in love. And if I stand strong in that, I don't have to worry about someone coming, like someone wants to punch me in the gut, say like, you're a jackass. Is that true? No, because like my righteousness kind of speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? So you notice how we're kind of getting soft with this? It's like, no, I don't need to worry about all these things that people are saying, all these terrible things that are people doing is because, yeah, someone just said on here, it's like, this is why deconstruction keeps you in this vicious cycle because you keep fighting against evangelicals, you keep stirring up your trauma. And I'm over here telling you, stop it. Stay soft. So let them say what they're going to say, And it says, with readiness to serve the good news of peace as shoes for your feet. This is where we get really interested. This is where I get interested too. It's like, okay, so like, what's this thing that is like, what keeps me stuck? Stagnation. When I get stuck in the fighting, if I just get stuck right here at we got this thing. Okay, so I'm on defense. I've got these things. I'm prayed up. I'm meditated. I'm feeling good. How do I keep going? Well, a stationary person is going to get knocked down by an enemy, if you will. If you're standing still. Okay, so this is my there's two things with it. Stillness is important, and also stillness must be balanced by action. Unless you are like pursuing an aesthetic hermitage path and you just want to go out and be still in the woods, that's your thing. But if you are interacting with the rest of the world and you cannot become a hermit, like myself, I would love to be a hermit. Oh my God. You would never see this face again. But it says, with readiness to serve the good news as your shoes, readiness to serve. Who in your community can you love today? Like, think about service in a totally different way. Don't think about it like I have to go out and do something, but just like, is what I'm doing right here, right now, contributing to more love in the world? The readiness to serve. Like, it's like I had a friend in my past who used to say, if you see a need, fill it. If you see a need and you can do it, you should do it. And you know why? Because it's easy. And also, I fully believe that when we do things in acts of great love, we're not losing anything. Like, think about it. When you gave your time, did you lose anything? You know? I I just like that's the thing I just get stuck on is like allow me to just do the right thing. Because when I do, love is totally abundant. Love is give and give, and that which you give away, you secure for yourself. Sorry, for a second there, I got lost in a thought, and I just got my ADHD, so I came back. I don't know if you saw that, but I did in my mind. What does it say next? At every onslaught, take up faith for your shield, for with it you will be able to extinguish the flaming darts of the evil one. What does it mean to take up faith as a shield? It's so annoying. Oh, for me, it's like faith is everything. My faith is actually like the thing that sustains me. And I mean, we're going to talk about how do we get there? How do we get this in just a second? And I'm not going to keep us going because like going over an hour is probably a little too much. But when I think about that, when I think about like the ability that I have within myself to take up something, to choose, I think that for me is like it's like a thought that I choose. Something, I guess, it's like at every onslaught. So when I think about an onslaught, I think like what happens on Twitter when people start dog piling on, for example, my friend Jamie Lee Finch. People like love to project their emotions on her because she is a woman and she's liberated, and she also is somebody who actively works to help liberate people on a different level. At every onslaught, take up the shield of faith. What do I have faith in? I have faith in spirit, which has called me to this work. I have faith in love, which compels me to be my highest self. I have faith in my body, which has sustained me and gotten me through so much already. Um, and again, it's just like I have faith in the truth that's holding up my pants, the truth of like who God says I am. And so it's just like, again, like truly, your love, your faith, your trueness, like it needs no defense. And so it's like really wild to me. I'm just like, take up this, what is it? Take up the faith as your shield. It's just like, yeah, because when I have faith, it really is. The faith is basically just like believing in what I know to be true already. I think like something actually like I love from A Course in Miracles, it says like you don't need faith, you need experience. And that's the thing, is just like it's not that I have like faith in something that's like unquantifiable. It's just that like I have faith in these practices because it works. When I sit my ass down, when I have my practices, when I love myself well, it works. It's not magic, it's math. I've been saying this a lot lately, just like, and we'll get into this in just a second. And receive the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the message of God, always with prayer and supplication. And then it goes on to say, pray for the community. The helmet of salvation. It says, receive the helmet of salvation. That's not something that you have to like get or fashion for yourself. Just receive it. And what is salvation? I think salvation is recognizing that you never left heaven. I think salvation is coming into actual happiness and bliss right here and right now. Because when I remember all of these things, and it's just like I put on this state in which God takes me into, and I'm like, that for me is salvation. Realizing that love is here and getting into that presence. Because when I'm there, when I'm in that space, when I have my little helmet of salvation on and I recognize who and what I am, I'm not bothered as much by the world. And in fact, because I have fortified myself in such a way, I'm better able to interact with the world. You know what I'm saying? So how do we get into that? How do we do this? And this is where I am going to make my, little bit of advice for you, beloved. What's your daily practice like? What's your daily practice like? And what I mean by that is, are you sitting down with yourself every single day for at least 5 minutes? Are you sitting down with yourself to say, hey, how you doing? And so if you're not doing that, like, it's just like, if you're not taking time, like, think about it this way. It don't take you long to get dressed in the morning, right? You gotta put on your pants. This sounds so silly, right? It's like, you gotta put on your pants before you get out the door. Just like, when your spiritual life becomes as important as your physical life, things will change for you. Dead ass. Things can change for you in an instant when you start changing your practices. So for me, when I meditate every single morning, like, there are parts of me that's like, I don't really want to. I'm tired. I just want to, like, smoke a J and go for a run and, like, do this. And then there's a part of me that says, Kevin, there's nothing more important than this. And there's just something in that that just, like, spoke to me. It's like, oh, yeah, you're right. Because when I don't do it, I can tell. And you know it too. Like, how many of us out there have, like, we've kept, like, a meditation practice up for, like, a couple days and I feel good. And then the third day I forget and then I just don't get back onto it. And then I feel bad. That's fine. Just get back on it. Take 5 minutes today. In fact, we're going to take 5 minutes before we get off this call to just breathe together, because it's important, because we need it, because it's necessary. And this is how we do it. And I'll lead us through a guided meditation where we actually put on the armor of God. I actually think I want to record this too for posterity, because we love that word. I've got a whole bunch of, like, saved meditations over here. Let's see. New audio recording. Perfect. All right. All right. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to drop into a little meditation wherever we are. And if you're new to meditation, you don't have to do anything. Just listen, follow my voice, and let yourself relax. So, take a deep breath in through the nose. Blow it all out. Breathing in and out. And I'm going to get up close. I'm actually going to pull the mic closer to my voice. Make it nice and delicious. So if you're watching this on Instagram, you're not going to get the full experience. But if you're watching this elsewhere, you might. But go ahead and just let yourself move your neck around in a way that feels good. Maybe you roll those shoulders just a little bit. Give yourself a nice bit of love. Alexa, set a timer for just 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
Take a count of what you're feeling right now. Where's the tension in your body? Where is your mind going immediately? Don't try to change it. Just note it and keep on breathing. Call to mind now all the words and scripts of things that keep you blocked. The stories you tell yourself, the things you've heard about in your past. And now I want you to imagine all of those things falling away as you pull on the belt of truth. And as you do this in your mind's eye, as you fashion this belt in whatever beautiful design, maybe it's large, maybe it's a simple leather belt, maybe it's got rhinestones, I don't know, whatever your belt of truth looks like. As you attach it to yourself, as you fasten it, say this: I am loved. I'm strong. I am not abandoned. I am powerful. And I don't need to entertain anything that does not align with the truth of how God made me to be. As you breathe in, bring your attention up to your heart space. And as you exhale, I want you to let that love just radiate outward and envision it solidifying all around you as a breastplate, as a piece of armor going over your whole torso, fortifying you with every bit of goodness, with all the love of the universe, your innate goodness, and say to yourself, I am good. I am good because that is how love created me. I am righteous. That is my natural state. And I may falter, but my righteousness sustains me. There's nothing that this holiness within me cannot do. Upon your feet, I want you to just visualize release happening, peace and not tension, connection and not disconnection. And as you do this, visualize where you want to bring this peace with you, this love, this power. Visualize all the places you're going to go in this coming week and ask yourself, what is the good word that I have to bring to these people? Spirit, what would you have me say? Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? And be willing, because to know that your will is merely God's will in truth. And so now focus on your head, the very top of your head. And as you breathe in, imagine a helmet coming upon you, encircling all of your thoughts, pushing out all thoughts of doubt, fear, remorse, destruction, any thought that is unhelpful, let it go. As thoughts of love, replace them. Thoughts of power, replace them. Thoughts of delight and peace, replace all of your woes. Let it sink over your whole face. And in your hand, I want you to just imagine the sword of the Spirit. Not one which we injure another person with, but one which we cut through illusion, that we cut away all the things that are unhelpful, even in a way that seems possibly destructive, but you know that truth can never be destroyed. Truth can never be threatened. Breathe in. Feel that all over you. Feel this armor of your own spirit coming out of you, protecting and fortifying you always. Give yourself just a few more moments to breathe. Alexa, stop. And as you breathe in, if you haven't opened your eyes yet, you can take another couple deep breaths. And then as you're ready, you can come back into your space. So, how was that? Let me know in the comments, how was that for you? What did you feel? What did you think? What did it do for you? I'm going to take a little coffee while we do that. Because this to me, like, here's what I believe. The peace that passeth all understanding, that right there. In a world that is so bent on destroying us, on keeping us exhausted, like, this is what we need. Oh, Crystal on Instagram says, I needed this morning. I woke up at 3:30 with anxiety, so this reset my day. Do you know that you can reset your day at any time? Dead ass. I reset my day all the time. When I was driving around the country, I would be full of anxiety. I would pull my ass over on the side of the road and just give myself 15 minutes. Was I late getting back to my things? Yeah. But guess what? We can reset our days at all time. We can take 5 minutes at any point, just go, all right, let me go through. Start at the top of my head. Where's the tension? And just scan all the way down our bodies. And just tell yourself, it's okay. I love you. It's okay. There's another person on YouTube that says, I really needed this also. I feel so much more relaxed and at peace. My friends, this is what I'm talking about. This stuff right here that we're talking about in our texts, it's wonderful. It's good poetry. It's inspiring. And it is nothing without a practice. This is why Christianity didn't fucking work for us, y'all. Because we just read words in a book and we didn't actually experience them in our bodies. Can I get a witness to that? And so what we just experienced, even for just a moment of time, was peace. The peace that passeth understanding. In my opinion, this is what they're all talking about. That to me is salvation. Imagine feeling this all the time. I think this is what Jesus actually felt sorry, my camera got bumped. I think this is what Jesus felt all the time. I think that Jesus was keenly aware of how to get into the presence of love, and that's why he fucking went off all the time by himself. He's like, too much. I gotta go be by myself. I gotta recognize the ways in which I'm letting these flames of the enemy, quote unquote, the stratagems of the devil, as this puts, the stratagems of, like, if we want to talk about a devil, the stratagems of empire, the stratagems of capitalism, the stratagems of white supremacy, the stratagems of patriarchy. That's the devil. You want to resist those things? You want to really resist those things? You got to, girl, baby, honey, you got to get with yourself. You got to take time to put on righteousness. Also, I just heard something break in the background, so I'm going to have to go see that in a second. So yeah, that is what I am here to share with you today. This little Saturday church moment. So, yeah, I love doing this. So I suppose, like, we'll keep doing this. We're gonna have more things like this. If this was good for you, I just want to say thank you for coming to hang out. This was a delicious time for me. I'm really, really excited about continuing to expand this more. So again, if this feels good for you, I would love for you to come hang out with us more. Come here on Saturday Church, and also go to patreon.com/thekevingarcia to learn more about this, to learn more about this amazing community, and join us again, probably 10 a.m. next Saturday. It might be 11. We'll try it out. We'll just check it out, see how it goes. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. For all the people on YouTube and on Facebook, to everyone on Instagram, I'm Kevin Garcia. I love you. And we will see you next Saturday for Saturday Church. Before we go, I guess, like, this is like the thing I need to do. Again, if you liked this and you want to support this, there's a couple ways you can do it. Going to patreon.com/thekevingarcia is the easiest way to support this kind of work and this ministry and continue to grow better spiritual spaces. That continued support really does help. And also, you get a whole lot of stuff out of it. There's a Discord channel. There's a workshop. There is streaming my live shows that are coming up as the world goes on. It's really a good deal, if I do say so myself, and I do say so myself. Other thing you can do, if you just want to throw a couple bucks my way, Cash App, Venmo is the Kevin Garcia. So everything is helpful and very appreciated. I love you. Happy Saturday. You are amazing. And we will see you next week, beloved. Bye. Do I hit in?